This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin with continuing coverage on initiatives to grow the VI economy, an initiative to bring together the private sector and top industry experts for marine projects kicked off at the Blue Tide Caribbean Conference recently. Our USVI News' Ali Bourne-Vanak has more from Governor Albert Bryan Jr., who spoke about opportunities for both the USVI and Puerto Rico.
Economic and eco-responsible opportunities in our U.S. American seas took center stage at the Blue Tide Caribbean Summit. Speakers included Governor Albert Bryan Jr., who shared how it's a huge time for both the USVI and Puerto Rico.
The blue economy is massive for both Puerto Rico, us, and the entire Caribbean. Being a small island community, we want to capitalize on the massive amount of marine activity here in Puerto Rico. They come over every weekend. We call them the Puerto Rican Army. And as well, we want to be able to take care of trade in terms of shipping and, of course, conservation of our underwater lifestyle.
The conference had more than 35 participants from the private and government sectors who shared information to help strengthen marine and maritime activities of Puerto Rico, the USVI, and Caribbean. Governor Bryan says partnerships between the USVI and Puerto Rico could make a huge impact.
For example, the transshipment port that we have here in Puerto Rico that helps us move goods all about the Caribbean. That is being key part of bringing goods from all over the world into, as well as the importance of the cruise port and home porting in Puerto Rico and what it means for the smaller islands to be able to enjoy more regular seasonal visits from cruise ships.
What makes this conference helpful is that it directly addresses the private sector and how they can be eco-responsible and support the blue economy, which has numerous opportunities.
It is huge amounts of money. I mean, right now our marine business is booming, our charter business is booming. We would like to be able to go back into the BVI where we were before, as well as come this way when we go move west, to go to Culebra and Vieques and incorporate even all the Puerto Rican ports as part of our package in terms of sailing in the Virgin Islands and, of course, Puerto Rico.
In St. Thomas, Ali Bourne-Vanak, USVI News.
Wow, some amazing ideas for a brighter future. New health upgrades are in store for military veterans here in the U.S. territory. Governor Bryan announced this week that this will include partnerships with Puerto Rico in assessing their state-of-the-art medical facilities that they have for veterans on their island. Here's more.
Amazing and exciting news for our veterans who depend on the healthcare system. Thanks to the collaborative effort between our Veterans Office and Director Farrell here and working with the Puerto Rican veteran offices, they have actually gotten together a charter airplane just for veterans, one from St. Croix, one from St. Thomas, once a week, where we will be flying our veterans over to Puerto Rico for free. Once they get there, there will be a bus at the charter for them, and then they will take them to the Veterans Administration, where they will be prioritized as first in line on people to get through, and because they have to get back on that charter in the evening, which will transport them back to their respective islands, whether St. Thomas, St. Croix, or St. John. They're also trying to expand services in the Virgin Islands by making sure that we have access to doctors that can, and the hospital that can then build the Veteran Administration, but also to have the expansion of home-based care. So they are putting together a team on both islands now that will actually visit veterans in their home and give care to them. They'll be equipped with doctors, EMTs, and nurses and home care assistants that could help those veterans take better care of themselves.
Wow, this expanded access for veterans is great news for the territory. COVID-19 cases have been increasing here in the VI and nationwide over the last month or so. Today, our Washington correspondent Matt Knadler sits down for a one-on-one interview with Virgin Islands Congresswoman Stacy Plaskett to learn more about mitigation efforts here in the territory.
Congresswoman, thanks for the time. Good to see you again and good to chat about a whole host of issues here. Big news day. Speak with you.
I will start with COVID in the territories. Give me an idea of what's going on in the territory as far as COVID goes and the Delta variant.
Well, it appears that, we have a large number of positive COVID cases. I think the fact that we have a second wave is not historically something new. If you look at the Spanish flu, it went through several waves as well as variants came about. I think what's most disturbing to me and to many individuals is the amount of mis and disinformation that the general public has about the vaccines, which I find very, very concerning. I see a lot of people relying on social media, on YouTube, on WhatsApp videos that are being shared that are not reputable scientists, that are not healthcare providers who are sharing science with you. They're sharing conspiracies and theories that they personally may have. These are self-proclaimed experts who have no peers that support them in these theories. And the fact that members of my community are making health decisions based on YouTube videos, and individuals who are not experts and have no peers that support them in the healthcare field in their expertise is very frightening.
What's your message to constituents to get vaccinated? I think that's really important as well to hear from officials and positions like yours. What's your message to folks on the vaccine?
Well, the vaccine is not spreading COVID. First of all, that's a lie. That's disinformation. Individuals who are vaccinated may get COVID. It is not a cure, but it will ensure for more than 90% of people who are vaccinated from getting sick, having long-term health care issues, and dying. That is something that you need to be concerned with. The unvaccinated are, for the most part, individuals who are spreading the disease. The people who are vaccinated may spread it. We know that that's true. But the unvaccinated, even those who are wearing masks but are unvaccinated, have a much higher propensity of spreading the disease. And that is from health.
All right, coming up on Monday, Matt will have part 2 of their conversation, this time focusing on the physical and human infrastructure packages in Congress right now. Good news for millions of students still paying off their student loans. A pause on federal student loan payments has been extended again, this time until next year. Here's more on what it means for students and why some say the extension isn't enough. A renewed break from federal student loan payments. President Biden extending a freeze on monthly bills for millions of Americans.
Student debt is impacting every aspect of people's lives, right? So we're at $1.7 trillion for 44 million people.
Balances were initially suspended in March 2020 during the earliest days of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pause was set to expire at the end of September, now extended until the end of January 2022. Ashley Harrington of the Center for Responsible Lending says the extension could level the playing field for borrowers, especially students of color who rely on loans for their higher education.
There are so many Black and brown families who make a middle-class income but are unable to live a middle-class lifestyle because the student debt is holding them back from doing all the things we'd associate with middle class, right? Buying a house, starting a business, saving for retirement.
The extension now giving borrowers almost 2 years of relief from those monthly payments. During that time, interest has stopped adding up, saving the average borrower about $2,000 over the first year. But advocacy groups like the Student Debt Crisis says it's not enough and are asking President Biden to cancel student debt by executive order to stimulate the economy.
The domino effect has been that when folks have high student debt payments, $1,000, $2,000 per month, they can't buy houses, they can't buy cars, they aren't able to make small purchases to help that small business out.
So collections on defaulted debt are also on hold, and private student loan borrowers are not covered by the pause extension. Again, it's just those federal student loans.